All right, friends, until we start, I just thought I will take this occasion to welcome you all. And thank you so much for registering and participating in today's webinar on wheat bran in animal feeds. I would also like to remind you that we are having one more webinar slated on March 7th at 4 p.m., which is going to be held by Mr. Robin Panwala, who is the co-founder of Acura AI. And he's going to speak to us on using AI in wheat price prediction. So I'm sure this will be of much interest because everybody now is, trying to use AI, which is the second brain of the person, as people call it. And our first brain sometimes is not accurate. Maybe with two brains, we can do a little more better job. So this also promises to be a very interesting topic and session and speaker. Mr. Robin Panwala is the co-founder, as I told you, of Acura AI. They are already, in the AI business, and he will give us leads as to how we can be more analytical in predicting wheat prices with all the combinations and permutations that are there, which we can use AI to make a better prediction. Of course, these are not time-tested tools. These are all predictive tools, but can be a good tool in the toolbox for millers in the future. And also, I would like to remind you about our forthcoming WPPS CEOs Conclave 2025 to be held in Indore on 24th and 25th of April. We request everybody to please register for that as well. It's going to be very different. We are going to have people from all spheres of trade and industry, including bread manufacturers, biscuit manufacturers, machinery manufacturers, millers, wheat traders, importers, the big trading houses. We hope to have good participation and good interaction. It's going to be more like a interactive session and a meeting ground for everybody at the time of the peak time of wheat season. So I think everybody can plan their trips with some little short trips to other places nearby as well. And also MP State Flour Millers Association is supporting us in this venture, and all the members of MP State have assured that fellow millers coming in for this, they would be more than ready to help with any other short trip to a holy place or mandis or nearby areas. So that is the assurance we have got from them. So until we wait for Dr. Dinesh Bhosale, our speaker today, to join us, I will just give a little bit of background as to why we are having this session, which is wheat bran in animal feeds. So we know so much more about our wheat flour customers, what are his problems, why somebody else's wheat flour is better than your wheat flour, or what strengths your wheat flour has over your competition, and what are the various uses, application, who are the customers, what are they baking out of it, what are their processes. And most of the millers are quite involved with their customers and trying to help them out to make different products. But as far as wheat bran is concerned, we realized that when we didn't even know about the competition coming in from DDGS, and as a matter of fact, didn't even know, most of us were clueless as to what DDGS was. And when suddenly the news broke that this is giving us competition, we all went to Google and we tried to find out and comprehend what is the problem with wheat bran. Why aren't we fetching these prices? So there is this whole cattle feed matrix, which I thought it was about time we understood. And 25% of our production almost is wheat bran, and we have very little information about the product itself and where it fits in the entire nutrition matrix of livestock and animal feeds. So we spoke to Dr. Dinesh Bhosale, whom I shall be introducing shortly. He's just on the way reaching his computer. He's coming in from some government meeting, so he's about 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes delayed. So he will be covering various topics which we had given him under Wheat Bran. And for the benefit, I will just read out what all he shall be covering. So wheat bran utilization in animal feed. How does wheat bran compare to other raw materials commonly used in animal feed formulations? What are the key benefits of including wheat bran in cattle, poultry, and swine diets? Are there specific species of livestock categories that benefit more from wheat bran inclusion? Market trends and economic factors. Given the rising cost of feed ingredients, how can wheat bran be positioned as a cost-effective uh, uh, alternative? How does price fluctuation affect the adoption of wheat bran in animal feed industry? The nutritional advantages, the role of technology and innovation, challenges and quality control, alternative feed and ingredients, and future trends, sustainability and policy support. So these are the few uh, topics. And thank you, Dr. Dinesh, for joining us. That was really quick in Bangalore traffic. I, I welcome you to this webinar. I welcome Dr. Dinesh Bhosale, our speaker today for wheat bran in animal feeds. A very brief introduction of Dr. Dinesh Bhosale, who is the former chairman of CLFMA of India. He's the vice president of Animal Nutrition Association. He's been associated with various companies in the past, including Venkateshwara Hatcheries, Vista, UK. He has given more than 1,300 lectures on animal nutrition, pan India. He has done a fodder yatra in 5 states, besides being a PhD in animal nutrition and also a diploma in business management. He's been associated with Maharashtra Animal Fisheries Science University, Skill Board of Dairying, BIS Animal Feeds Committee, Journal of Animal Nutrition and Feed Technology, Management Committee of ICAR. So he understands our wheat bran much better than what we understand, although we produce so much of wheat bran. And Dr. Dinesh took some basic data, and on the basis of his entire knowledge, he has also promoted DDGS in the past and soya meal in the past for dairy and poultry and other purposes. So I would also request people, if any of the attendees have any specific questions, please put them in the chat box. We will note them out, and Dr. Dinesh will answer them separately. Meanwhile, I would now welcome and request Dr. Dinesh to go forward with this presentation. Thank you, Dr. Dinesh, for coming, and please start.
Can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Okay. Let me thank Mr. Ajay Goyal, Mr. Raj Kapoor, team of WPPS for inviting me to interact with all of you on wheat bran in animal feeds. Let me tell you one thing, means I took admission in veterinary science in 1987, and I'm listening about chunni and choker from 1987, and wheat bran is the most favorite ingredient of our cows and buffaloes. But for the first time, I am talking about it. Otherwise, I had talked about all the raw materials used in animal feeds. Dear friends, India is 1, 2, 3, 4 in the world. First in milk production, second in freshwater aquaculture, third in egg production, and fourth in chicken production. We are also number 5th in the world in animal feed production. If you'll see, India produced around 230 million metric ton of milk last year, out of which 55% came from buffaloes and 45% came from cows. India has 100 million buffaloes and we have 200 million cows. Out of these 200 million cows, 20% are crossbred high-yielding animals and 80% are indigenous and nondescript animals. As all of you know, that Gir, Sahiwal, Red Sindhi, Tharparkar, these are our indigenous animal which gives good quantity of milk also. All our remaining indigenous breeds are drought breeds. They give less than 1,500 kg of milk after giving birth to calf. To produce 230 million metric ton of milk, we need 115 million metric ton of cattle feed or concentrate. If you see, only 17 million metric ton of cattle feed is produced. So I will request all of you who are processing wheat, there is another business opportunity for you to sell wheat bran. You can start your own cattle feed company and you can do the value addition of your wheat bran by converting it into cattle feed. So rest, if you minus 17 million metric ton, 98 million metric ton of raw materials like grains, grain byproducts, oil cakes, chunni, brans are fed directly to animals by our farmers. So, as I said, wheat bran is very popular among our dairy farmers. In North India, almost each and every buffalo farmer feeding chunni and choker to their animals. But if you see the compound cattle feed manufacturing, they use only 5 to 10% of wheat bran if price allows. But if you see the farmer, he is using around 30 to 40% of wheat bran while feeding his animal. Why? Because wheat bran is number one in palatability. Animal loves it because it has a good quality digestible fiber. So therefore, we have scarcity of green fodder, we have scarcity of dry fodder. So wheat bran acts as a fiber source for our animals. And as I said, it is more preferred by buffalo farmers as compared to cow farmers. What are the types of cattle feed sold in India? Bureau of Indian Standard has made voluntary standards for cattle feed manufacturers. So type 1 is a better cattle feed as compared to type 2. When the calf is born, for first 1.5 months, we have to feed calf with milk of cow. And then we can give calf starter to our calves. So calf starter is given at 6 months of age. So that helps to gain the weight because when the calf is born, the weight is around 30 to 40 kg. And every month, calf will gain around 20 kg. So by the end of 6 months, the calf should be around 150 kg or 160 kg. So nowadays, many companies have started selling calf starter. After 6 months of age, grower feed is given to calf. And at the age of 12 to 14 months, when the calf is ready to become pregnant, it is made pregnant. And then heifer feed is given to this calf once the calf becomes pregnant. Heifer means cow which is giving birth for the first time. Then what is meant by transition feed? Just before calving and 3 weeks after calving, means 3 weeks before calving, 3 weeks before delivery, and 3 weeks after delivery, transition feed is given to animals. It contains special nutrients like dicad, so it prevents metabolic diseases after delivery. And if you see, century is very important in cricket. Similarly, 100 days are very important in the life of the cow. So 30 days before delivery are very important and 70 days after delivery are very important. So cow, good quality cow will give milk for 305 days. So for first 100 days, she will give maximum milk. Then milk will be stabilized, that is known as mid lactation. And then during last 100 days, cow is pregnant. So she will divert nutrition towards growth of the calf inside her. So she will give less milk. what cattle feed provides? Basically, we are giving water, minerals, vitamins, fat, protein, starch, fiber, energy to our animals. How cattle feed is made? It contains grains like maize, bajra, jowar, broken rice. Sometimes wheat is also available from the FCI godowns, which is not fit for human consumption. Then grain byproducts like de-oiled rice bran, wheat bran, rice polish, etc. Oil mills, cakes like mustard oil cake, cottonseed, soybean, sunflower, groundnut, coconut. So at least 10 to 15 different types of oil mills or cakes are available for our animals. Molasses is added at 7 to 8% in cattle feed. It acts as a binder, pellet binder, because cattle feed pellets are made. And it also is a source of simple sugar to our animals. Urea is added up to 1% in cattle feed. It is a source of protein for cow. In our Hindu mythology, we say that 33 crore god reside inside the cow. Scientifically, it is true in a sense that there are 33 crore bacteria, protozoa, fungi inside the rumen of the cow. So whatever we are feeding, green powder, dry powder, wheat bran, cattle feed to cows, these bacteria, protozoa, fungi inside the rumen, they will digest it. So urea, when goes to rumen, it is broken down into two molecules of ammonia. And this ammonia is used as a source of making protein by the bacteria. Vitamins, both fat soluble and water soluble vitamins, are given to cows. B complex is produced inside the cow. So we give A, D, E, K and vitamin C. Minerals, there are two types of minerals. Major minerals like calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, sodium, chlorine. These are given in grams to cows or buffaloes. And trace mineral, minor minerals like cobalt, copper, zinc, selenium, manganese. These are given in microgram, very small quantity. So either inorganic minerals are used, or nowadays organic or chelated, nano, hydroxy, different types of minerals are available. Here I have given example of how cattle feed is made. If you see, I have given example of BIS type 1, type 2, premium quality cattle feed, regular quality cattle feed, poor quality means cheaper cattle feed, cheapest, poor quality number 2. So as you can see, maize is used as an energy source. Sometimes broken rice is also used. Then rice bran is used in all formulations. As you can see, wheat bran is added into premium quality cattle feed because wheat bran is expensive as compared to de-oiled rice bran. And in cheapest feed, you can see that Halar bran is used, which has a very poor nutritional quality. So it is used just as a filler. In Rajasthan, guar chuni is available. So in North India, guar chuni is also added. Now I will show you a few slides about DDGS also. So nowadays, rice DDGS, maize DDGS is can be also used in cattle feed. Soybean meal is the most expensive protein source. So normally it is used mainly in poultry feed. It is not used in cattle feed. Then mustard cake, maize gluten, cottonseed extraction, rice bran is with fat and de-oiled rice bran is without fat. So if you see, de-oiled rice bran acts as a filler. So you can see that it is used from 18% to 48%. And then cottonseed cake is also good source of oil. Mustard cake is also good source of oil. As I said, 7 to 8% of molasses are used. And then various feed supplements are added, like bypass fat, mineral mixture, sodium bicarbonate, Optigen is one of the commercial product, which is a slow release urea. Then For calcium, dicalcium phosphate and limestone powder is added. Salt is added as a source of sodium and chloride. So basically, these are the formulations used all over India. I'm showing you a few more formulations. Basically, this is a homemade cattle mash. So mainly in North India, if you see, they are using wheat bran up to 15%. And without wheat bran, they cannot make cattle feed. So as you can see, they have added groundnut cake, soybean DOC, wheat bran, cottonseed cake, tuar chunni, and then maize 25%. This is another example where they have added wheat bran 15%. Then this is one more example where wheat bran is added at 10%. So as you can see, many raw materials are used. So this is a typical commercial cattle feed manufacturer's formula. So they use different types of oil cakes. Example, mustard, then groundnut, soybean, cottonseed. Tuor chunni is also used as a their rice polish contains fiber. Then dual rice bran is also used. So basically, as you can see, this is a formula which will give you 21.13% protein. This will give 4.34% fat. It will contain 9% fiber, and it will have energy. Energy is measured in terms of TDN. TDN means total digestibility nutrient, 75.56. So anything about 60% is a good quality energy source. In this formula also 10% of, it's the same thing I pasted twice, I think. So I was talking about the carb starter. So at the age of 1 month or 1.5 months, we can give this carb starter. As you can see, wheat bran is used at 8%. It mainly contains good quality grain like barley, maize, rice. Then groundnut is used up to 30%. In India, animal origin product is not allowed. So this is a formula from foreign country. So they are using fish meal, meat meal. But in India, we use skim milk powder in our carb starter formula. Then mineral mixture is used. Molasses is used for taste and simple sugar. Salt is added. So you are selling wheat bran. So you know what is the analysis report of wheat bran. So wheat bran protein varies from 10% to 19%. And moisture should be below 12%. If it is below 10%, it is well and good. Wheat bran is a good source of fat. So it contains from 3.2% to 6.5% fat. Ash content should not be more than 6.5. Dietary fiber, it should not be more than this level. Starch content varies from 21 to 39. So basically, it depends on the processing, how the processing is done, how what percentage of wheat flour is present. And if you divide the fiber, it is divided into 3 types of fiber: cellulose, hemicellulose, and lignin. So lignin is not digestible even by cows and buffaloes. So cellulose and hemicellulose, these are digestible by cows and buffaloes. Minerals, excellent source. Wheat bran is an excellent source of minerals. It has iron, magnesium, zinc, manganese, phosphorus, calcium, sodium, potassium. So it is a very good source. So nutritionist, while formulating the diet, he whenever he is adding wheat bran, sometimes there is no need of adding extra dicalcium phosphate in the feed, because wheat bran is rich in calcium and phosphorus. And so in foreign countries, if you see, they are using wheat bran up to 30%, 35% also. In India also, means when I interacted with many nutritionists, they told me that wheat bran can be used from 5% to 40%. So it all depends on the price parity and the quality of the product. and it also depends on the reliable supply. So I will request all wheat bran manufacturers who are attending this seminar, please go and meet cattle feed manufacturers in your area, establish good relations with them, and start supplying your wheat bran to them. So they will keep buying depending on the price parity. Sometimes they'll buy more, sometimes they'll buy less. But once you establish the good relations, they will regularly analyze your product. They can share the analysis report with you. So basically, as you can see, in India, we are not growing beef cow, but we are not doing fattening of cow. And sheep and goat is an unorganized sector in India. But wheat bran can be used for all animals. Similarly, organized pig industry is not present in India, but wheat bran can be used in pig feeds also. Now government is promoting pig farming in Northeast India. Recently on 23rd and 24th January, government conducted very big meeting of animal husbandry in Shillong. So wheat bran is a very good ingredient in the diet of pigs because it keeps intestinal health very good. It enhances the bacteria present in the intestine. And basically what happens, fiber present in the wheat bran is digested in the large intestine of the pigs. And that produces the volatile fatty acid, which can be used by animal as a source of energy. So basically, as you can see, 30 to 45% of wheat bran can be used in our pig feeds. In India, poultry feed industry is the most organized industry. So we are using maize, we are using soybean meal in poultry feed as a source of energy and protein. Sometimes wheat is available for us, for poultry feed manufacturers, so we will use wheat also because wheat contains more crude protein and amino acid like lysine, tryptophan, but it has less energy as compared to maize. Wheat also contains less vitamin A and less biotin. Biotin is another vitamin. So basically, enzymes needs to be used when we are using wheat in our diet. Wheat is a excellent alternative. If you go to Europe, Canada, Australia, they are regularly using wheat in their diet. So they are using enzymes like xylanase enzyme to release the energy trapped inside the wheat because wheat will increase the viscosity inside the intestine. So we have to use enzymes. So what are the bad things in the wheat and wheat bran? So basically, if you'll see, all you take any grains, you take any vegetable protein source, they will have one or another anti-nutritional factor present. So wheat contains protease inhibitor, it contains phytohemagglutinins, it contains phytic acid, it contains estrogenic factor, it has flatulence factor, it has amylase inhibitor, it has choline esterase inhibitor. So inhibitor will inhibit the action of enzymes like protease. So protease acts on protein, amylase acts on starch. Choline esterase is also one of the enzymes. Phytic acid will bind to minerals and vitamins. So therefore, if phytase enzyme is used, we can release the phosphorus, which is bound with phytic acid. So if you see, wheat bran and wheat can be used in poultry, cows, buffaloes, which are called ruminant, and also in the pig feeds. Basically, all our raw materials, including wheat and wheat bran, should be free from the microbial contamination like salmonella and clostridium. We should measure the moisture percentage, heat content. We should measure the starch and fiber because starch will give energy, fiber will give cellulose and hemicellulose, and that will decide the digestibility. Then what is the fat percentage? Because if the fat percentage is more, then the shelf life of wheat bran will go down because it will affect the it will create the free fatty acid level, so it will cause the rancidity if it is stored for a long time. Normally, if you ask me, the shelf life of the cattle feed is around 1 to 2 months. And if the wheat bran contains less than 12% moisture, I think the shelf life is below 10%, below 3 months. So basically, we can use wheat bran in our compound cattle feed also. And moisture is the main enemy, because if moisture is there, then the fungus growth will happen, and fungus growth will create mycotoxins which are harmful to poultry, our cattle and pigs, fish, wherever we are using the diet. So fungal, we have to keep moisture in control. That will prevent the fungal growth, that will create less mycotoxins. So wheat bran is very good source of energy, protein, minerals, and it has a low fat, low lignin, and it is a very good source of vitamins also. So this was briefly about wheat bran, and now I will speak about the new kid on the block. Last year, government suddenly decided that we should increase the ethanol blending to 20%, and government allowed use of rice and maize, because previously only molasses was used to make ethanol, and then small quantity of rice was given to make ethanol. But since November 2023, if you'll see, ethanol year starts from November to October. So during November 2023 to October 2024, around 7 million metric ton, 70 lakh tons of maize was processed for DDGS, and around 20 lakh tons, 2 million metric ton of rice was processed for ethanol. So if you'll see, how when 5 kg of rice is processed for ethanol, 1 kg of DDGS will be produced. When 3 kg of maize will be processed for ethanol, 1 kg of DDGS can be produced. And DDGS availability during last year, 2024, was around 3 million metric ton, 30 lakh tons. So suddenly the new raw material came for animal feed sector. So it reduced prices of all other protein sources, and it also reduced the prices of other ingredients. The only ingredient where the prices went up is maize. So therefore, as you can see, during last month, government allowed rice at 2,250 rupees for ethanol distilleries. So that has reduced the pressure on the maize. So now maize is going mainly for poultry feed, cattle feed, and rice is now mainly going for ethanol manufacturing. There are around 300 plants of ethanol all over India. Initially, distilleries which were making potable ethanol, they made changes in their plant, and they started making ethanol from molasses. Then they started making ethanol from rice, and government also gave a interest subvention scheme to install new distilleries plant. So around 170 new distilleries are installed all over India, and these will process mainly rice and maize. Why maize? Because rice and wheat are food crops. So therefore government doesn't want to divert wheat and rice in a major quantity for ethanol. On other day in last week, Mr. Ajay Goyal was asking me, can we make ethanol from wheat? I said yes. The company where I was working, AB Vista, we have ethanol plant in UK where we are making ethanol from wheat, because in Europe wheat is available, so they are making ethanol from the wheat. If you go to US, for last 25 years they are making ethanol from maize, And if you look at India also, government wants to divert farmers to maize from rice and wheat, and government wants to give better price for maize. So therefore, government allowed ethanol from maize. And then maize can be produced in 3 seasons. Maize requires less water as compared to rice and sugarcane. So as you can see, government is projecting that this year in 2025, around 9 to 12 million metric ton of ethanol will go for maize will go for ethanol. Last year, around 7 million metric ton went for ethanol. And as you can see, around 35 to 36 million metric ton of maize was produced during last year. During Kharif season, if you'll see, around 17 to 18 million metric ton of maize was produced. So government is projecting that as maize will be sold above MSP, farmer will divert to maize production. So in 2025, government is estimating that maize production will be around 45 million metric ton. Then by 2030, it will increase up to 63 million metric ton. And if you see, area is also growing under the maize. So around 2 million hectares are under maize and yield is around 3.9. So basically government's target, there is a ICAR institute called Indian Institute of Maize Research at Ludhiana. I have taken these slides from the presentation of director of this institute. These are government projections. And this is very interesting slide, that productivity, which are the states where productivity is high. So in Kharif season, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Punjab and Assam, these are top 5 states where productivity is between 4,000 kg to 7,500 kg. During Rabi season, West Bengal, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Bihar, these are the prominent states where productivity is high. During summer season, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Bihar, these are Karnataka, these are the states where productivity is high. So around 77% of maize is produced during Kharif season, around 18% is produced in Rabi season, and around 5% is produced in summer season. Aflatoxin is a main enemy in maize, and it is very harmful for our animals. So therefore, we are educating maize farmers to grow best quality maize. So there will be less aflatoxin, there will be less fungal growth, and there will be less aflatoxin in maize and also in DDGS. Because therefore, these are the few guidelines given to farmers. So all the agriculture department in various states, they are working with farmers, and they are educating farmers how to grow maize, how to do the post harvestment of maize, how to store the maize after the post harvest, and late planting should be avoided. Crop rotation with aflatoxin non-susceptible crop should be done. Mechanical damage to grain should be avoided during harvesting. Mechanical dryer should be used to dry grains at the farmers level, at mandi level, at ethanol manufacturers plant level, at feed mill level. Then while storing the maize, we should do the insect damage control measures. We should also do the proper irrigation. Many poultry feed mills, they have silos to store maize, and basically how the cutting should be done, and we should avoid the heaping of cob or grain at farmers level. So this will prevent the fungus growth. This will prevent the aflatoxin in the maize. And because, as I said, 3 kg of maize produces 1 kg of DDGS. So if maize contains 10 ppb aflatoxin, DDGS will contain 30 ppb. So these are the parameters that how the DDGS should look like and what is the particle size. There should not be more than 2 to 3% of foreign material. Moisture should be less than 12%. So these are very important things because garbage in, garbage out. So therefore, whatever maize ethanol manufacturers are using, they should grade that maize. Then only the good quality DDGS will be produced. Here I have shown the how ethanol is manufactured. So grain is converted into slurry, and then that slurry goes to liquefaction, and then fermentation is done with the help of yeast, and starch is fermented into ethanol. Ethanol is removed, and then decantation is done, and then wet grains solubles and thin stillage, it is mixed together and it is dried together to produce DDG. If you are drying wet distillers grains only, you can produce rice DDG with 58 to 60% of protein also. You can produce maize DDG up to 35 to 40% also. Now few ethanol manufacturers are also putting machine to remove the fat from the maize DDGS. So if the fat is removed from the maize DDGS, then the protein will go up. Color is very important. If it is dark color, means we have burned the product. It is over processing. So it will damage the protein. It will damage the essential amino acids. So we should look for the color. We should look for the smell. The number 1, number 2 quality is very good. Golden yellow color is very good for poultry. Number 3 and number 4 is very good for cattle, because little bit of over processing is good, because it will increase the bypass protein value of DDGS. Present problem is that ethanol manufacturers are buying whatever maize they are getting, whatever rice they are getting from FCI. They don't have choice. So therefore, the DDGS quality is variable. Chemical composition is highly variable. There is a high level of unsaturated fatty acid in maize DDGS. There is no standard nutrient profile available. And as I said, aflatoxin is a big issue. This is I will request Ajay ji to share my presentation with all of you so that you can look at all these slides later. So there is a lot of variability.
Surely we will share it. We will share it. We will share the link to the presentation.
That's great. That's great. Because I'll not be able to explain line by line. But as you can see from this presentation, this slide, that there is a quality is variable. Means the protein in rice DDGS is varies between 40 to 45%, and the ash should be low. The fiber should not be more than 4%. Few people here I have compared the soybean meal, which is the benchmark, which is the best protein source, with rice DDGS and corn DDGS. So as you can see, many amino acids are deficient in maize DDGS and rice DDGS. So it has lower lysine. Digestibility of lysine is also low as compared to lysine in soybean meal. Tryptophan, arginine, these amino acids are also limiting amino acids in case of DDGS. So therefore, presently in our poultry feed, we are using 2 to 3% of DDGS. In our broiler feed, we are using up to 5 to 10% in layer feed. Maize DDGS, we are using up to 20% in cattle feed. And we are using rice DDGS up to 20% in cattle feed in India. So quality should improve. We cannot use more than 20% of maize DDGS in dairy animal, because fat percentage will create a problem for our animals. It will lower the milk production. It will lower the milk fat percentage. Sulfur content should be checked in DDGS. Higher sulfur content will hamper the digestibility of DDGS. So therefore, DDGS, we always we are telling people that don't use more than 5 to 10%, whether it's a poultry feed or cattle feed, and means although it
You
is
should tell them lesser, doctor. You should tell them 2-3% only, not even 5 to 10%.
that's no quality is a problem. There are many feed manufacturers who are using zero. So we are in poultry feed we are very cautious. We are not using more than 2 to 3% of this. And analysis, this slide is applicable for Bran also and DDGS also and all other raw materials also. We have to do continuous analysis of our raw material. We need better quality product. The storage should be done in better way. We should try to use maximum inclusion level if the price allows us, and toxin binder should be added in feed just to check the mycotoxin content which are present in the raw material. This is a slide about the mycotoxin. Means these mycotoxins are present in most of the raw materials what we are using in poultry feed and cattle feed. So aflatoxin, and there are many other mycotoxins. So we have to do continuous checking. More sulfur is not good for animals, as I said. More sodium is also not also good for animal. Phytate enzyme should be used if you want to do the efficient use of phosphorus. So this is the average range of DDGS. It's a variable quality. The as it shows protein content varies from 28.7 to 33% in maize DDGS. This is a amino acid composition of DDGS. More sample needs to be analyzed for DDGS. So although people have started using DDGS, but we always say that be cautious, use good quality raw material only. And I will tell that same to Bran manufacturers also, that please produce good quality, consistent product. Try to establish relations with all the feed manufacturers, and do physical seminars with the feed manufacturers, so that they can use more of they can use more of Bran in their feed. So that was my presentation. I will stop here, and now we can have question answers.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dinesh, for enlightening us on wheat bran and their substitutes. And as somebody in the past used to tell us that the wheat miller's competitor is not the other miller, but somebody else making rice or somebody else making gram flour, because these are competing cereals. And now it has hit upon us that wheat bran, we are not competing amongst ourselves to sell wheat bran. It is we have to compete with other cattle feeds, and we should stop considering it as a byproduct, because more than 25% of our production is wheat bran, and give it the status of a fuller product. So there are a few questions popping up, Doctor. One is, what is Huller bran? Huller, Huller bran. What is Huller bran, Doctor?
It's nothing but rice husk.
Okay, rice husk is Huller bran. Very good.
Rice
And
husk, round
yeah.
rice husk. One should not use it.
Okay. And is the government doing anything to address the issue of aflatoxin in terms of regulation for cattle or poultry feed, Doctor?
Government brought regulation in 2019 that milk and milk products should contain less means aflatoxin residues below permissible limit. They should contain antibiotic residues below permissible limit. Then government found that from where the aflatoxin residues are coming, so they cannot control green fodder and dry fodder. So therefore, they told cattle feed manufacturer that you should control the aflatoxin in your cattle feed. Government has brought the notification, but due to COVID, it has not become compulsory yet. But government has asked all cattle feed manufacturers to take BIS Type 1 and Type 2 certificates. In few states like Punjab, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, state has already made compulsory to cattle feed manufacturers to follow the BIS standards. Because animal husbandry and agriculture is a state subject. Central government can only give direction, but the implementation will be done by state animal husbandry ministry.
So the direction given by the union government is still, it is up to the states to make it mandatory, and a few states have only implemented it.
It is not yet passed in parliament. We are
Oh,
waiting.
it's not law yet.
So it's voluntary. Means
So,
due to COVID, it went on back burner.
what are the other opportunities for wheat bran manufacturers, doctor? How can it be presented in a better manner to both cattle owners and feed manufacturers?
Means I think there must be around 5 lakh villages in India.
Okay.
And at least 2 lakh villages are bigger. So I think wheat bran is available in all these 2 lakh villages.
Okay.
The raw material seller. So chunni, choker, these are the two products which are available all over India. So thanks to all of you that you are manufacturing 5 million metric ton of wheat bran, and through trader network, it is reaching farmers directly. So the best thing is to sell it as a brand. You can print your own bags. You can make it as a brand. You should do regular analysis of each batch, and you should sell it to cattle feed manufacturer. And while selling it to dairy farmers also through traders, it should go as a brand instead of going only as a wheat brand. Second thing, as I said, if you are interested, you can set up your own cattle feed plant also. So that's another way of value addition of wheat bran. And actually, when I was talking with one of the nutritionist, senior nutritionist who worked in Middle East, so he was telling me that in Middle East they used to use almost 30 to 40% of wheat bran in their cattle feed, but due to problems of particle size and due to problem of our machines while making cattle feed in India, sometimes the flowability is a problem for the wheat bran. It will get stuck in the silos. It will get stuck in the beans. It will get stuck in the machines. So I think moisture percent should be less, and particle size should be uniform. So that will help cattle feed manufacturers to use wheat bran. And I always tell people that don't compete with any other raw material. I think we should convince nutritionist and cattle feed manufacturer to use at least 5% of wheat bran in their cattle feed instead of competing with other things. So price parity fact is always there, but now dairy farmer is also switching from cheaper cattle feed to better cattle feed. They are looking at the result oriented cattle feed. Example, in case of poultry, we are giving pre-starter, starter finisher to broiler bird. We are giving chick mash, grower mash, and then once the bird starts laying eggs from 21st week, we are giving layer mash. Similarly, for cattle also now people have big companies have started selling calf starter, grower feed, heifer feed, transition feed. So they are looking for good quality raw material. So I think wheat bran is a very good candidate.
And doctor, tell us, is there an opportunity to sell wheat bran in a pellet form? Can we get a premium? Is it acceptable?
Actually, when you make wheat bran as a pellet, it is done in Europe and other countries also. So they are making pellet and then they are selling it. So it saves a lot of space, and the quality is uniform. Then and then there are no chances of adulteration. So I think there is harm in making pellets and asking for premium for your wheat bran pellets. Because it will reduce the adulteration. Adulteration is a big issue in India.
Okay.
So I think making pellet will solve the adulteration problem.
So there are secondary manufacturers who buy from mills and mills and adulterate it and sell it to the farmer and the feed manufacturers.
Actually, feed manufacturers have quality control laboratory, so he can at least check for protein and moisture and fiber, etc. But farmer doesn't have any lab or facility or spot test to check the adulteration. So basically, farmer is buying only on the physical properties. He will look at the smell,
Right.
look at the color of the product. So and then he will sell it. So therefore, I told that while selling to farmer also, if you can make your own brand and pack and sell, and you should put the analysis report on the bag, or just staple the analysis report with the bag. So that will help farmer.
So 2-3 other small questions, doctor. What is the use of wheat bran can increase if the feeds have mandatory? So can we have a copy of the notification which is still to be passed in Parliament as far as levels of aflatoxin is concerned? Is there any such paper or website or link or notification?
On FSSI website, all the notifications are there. So I will email it to you, and then you can circulate.
Okay. I will circulate it, doctor. And how can proper storage increase the life of wheat bran? What is proper storage in as per you?
Actually, moisture should be less than 10%.
Okay.
That shelf life. Then second thing is that if you go to good feed mill, you can learn how the proper storage is done. They will use pallets to keep the bags of raw material. They will not stack more than 15 or 20 bags on one or each other. They will have rodent control formula. They will do fumigation if they are storing it for a long time. Because I remember 20 years back, cattle feed manufacturer used to buy DRB in a season when it was cheaper. And then they used to store it for 3 months to 6 months. So they used to face the problem of rancidity. So fat is very important. In then FIFO principle should be followed.
Right.
So these all things should be done while storing the raw material. So basically, there are guidelines. I can share the storage guidelines with you, which are followed
Please,
by
doctor.
feed manufacturers. So you can share those with them. Basically, there should be proper aeration inside the warehouse. Because what happens, you are storing it in a better way, but how the trader is storing, how the farmer is storing, that is also very important, especially in the monsoon season, when the rains may affect the quality of the raw material stored by traders or farmer.
Okay, doctor. Wheat bran, is there a sand silica limit in most cattle feeds, or is it okay to have a limit for sand silica, or it should be nil in cattle feed?
It cannot become nil. What happens means will have sand silica. So it will also have sand silica, but what happened means sand silica should be minimum. It should not be maximum. Means should get premium on the basis of minimum sand silica content. Otherwise, sand silica percentage in specification it is higher. Then it is it gives chance of adulteration of sand silica, chance of adulteration of moisture. So I think fiber, moisture, sand silica should be at the minimum level. Protein, fat, it should be at higher level. Nowadays, there is a new machine called NIR, near infrared machine. It is sold by companies like FOSS, Brooker, Perten, etc. So this machine will give you instant analysis of your product, means of raw material also, and of finished feed also. Many manufacturers are using NIR machines nowadays, and then there are companies which are giving calibration data to use it in this machine. So within 15 to 20 seconds, you can get all the analysis report. And good thing about NIR analysis is that you can know about phytate phosphorus, you can know about over processing, you can know about damaged lysine, you can know about energy content of the raw material, because in laboratory it is possible to measure the energy. So we are using table value of energy or all the raw materials. But by using an machine, we can because energy data will be different for different species. Example, energy. Um, I have downloaded one data. I will share it with you. So net energy for different, net energy for pigs will be different, net energy for ruminants will be different.
I get you. And doctor, what is toxin binders?
Actually, what happens means, as I said, all raw materials contains one or other mycotoxin like aflatoxin, zearalenone, acrotoxin, etc. So when we are adding toxin binder in the cattle feed, poultry feed, etc., when it goes inside the animal's body, the toxin binder will mycotoxin, and it will go out of the body. So mycotoxin will not damage the performance of the animal. It will not damage the internal organ of the animal. So toxin binder is regularly used in poultry feed. So we are educating feed manufacturer also to use toxin.
So last question for Doctor, what's an optimal composition of protein, fiber, carbs, fat for feeds?
So basically, BIS standard is given that in case of cattle means protein varies from 18% to 24%.
Okay.
Cattle feed.
So that is the
and the TDN will tell you about energy. So energy will vary from 60 to 80% TDN, total digestive. And then there is a level for fiber, there is a level for sand silica, there is a level for fat. So BIS has designed standards for poultry feed also. They have standard for cattle feed also. So type 1, type 2, those standards are there. So the I showed one slide. So in that means those standards are mentioned at the bottom of the slide. So basically, what happens in case of poultry? The breed is commercialized. Commercial breeds are available. So all these commercial breed companies, they are giving guidelines about poultry specification also. So poultry feed manufactured in India is of international standards. So in case of poultry feed also, during young age of bird, we have to give more protein, less energy. And when the bird becomes older, we have to give more energy and less.
Okay. So, doctor, one or two final questions that are just popping up. Is manufacturing ethanol from wheat bran commercially feasible in India?
Actually, what happens, you will have to go and meet people in the ministry.
Okay.
Okay, because government, unless and until government allows use of wheat or ethanol, it will not happen. So you should go and meet people there. Means I think it is under Consumer Affairs and Food Ministry and Petroleum Ministry. So because I always tell joke that North Indians are short tempered because they eat wheat. There is a spelling of wheat. Wheat.
Come again, doctor. North Indians are short tempered. That's why they eat wheat.
Because there is a heat in the spelling of wheat.
Ah, okay.
And South Indians eat rice, so they are cool because there is a ice in the spelling of rice.
Wow, 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 wow. This is a new one, doctor. Thank you. Okay.
Basically, if you see, right, wheat and rice are the major staple food for our Indians. So government is cautious while diverting food crops like wheat and rice. You should go and meet people in the ministry and understand why they decided not to make ethanol from the wheat.
Right, right. So, doctor, there is one query which is popping up again and again. Some lot of people have tried to pelletize wheat bran. So they have 2, 3 questions. Number one, does wheat bran pellets absorb moisture during storage or transportation?
Actually, what happens? No, it depends. Means if the climate is hot and humid and all those things are there, it all depends on climate. And ideally, what happens once the wheat bran is produced, within a month or two, it will be given to animals, because as I said, shelf life of cattle feed is 1 to 2 months. And is there any off season for selling wheat bran? Are you storing it for more than 3 months?
Only when it is not selling, we are storing. We have no storage space. We are always struggling with storage space for wheat bran.
So what is your ideal time of storage? How many days you store it?
We try to sell it in 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, because we consider it as a byproduct. We normally people will not store it because it is bulky and occupies a lot of space, and then it can get rancid and lumpy. So millers try to sell it when it is freshly milled out only.
Okay. No, actually, this is the issue why cattle feed manufacturers are not able to use wheat bran, because it is not stable as de-oiled rice bran, because it contains fat.
So the fat profile of oil profile of rice bran oil and wheat bran oil is different.
Actually, means of course means de-oiled rice bran will contain less oil, but rice polish or rice bran, yeah, it has oil percentage in that, so it may also become rancid. Free fatty acid value is very important. So I don't have answer what is the difference between rice bran oil and wheat bran oil. I will have to check that. But free fatty acid value should be measured in wheat bran. That will tell you whether it is what should be the shelf life. If it is free fatty acid value is more, then you cannot store it for more time.
One final question, doctor. Most of the mills are making various types of wheat bran depending on the mesh size. So we have flaky wheat bran, normal fine bran, pollard-like super fine wheat bran. Some people are making wheat bran pellets. So there seems to be a preference with different regions, different areas and different markets. So some people don't like pellets at all. Some people don't mind pellets. Some people want a whitish color powdered bran. Some people want a brown color flaky bran. Why is this dichotomy when all are more or less similar? Why do people have these preferences?
Actually, means it's a habit, nothing else. It's a habit.
Okay.
They are habituated to use one type of wheat bran. So when they get that product, they use it. Otherwise, means if you see particle size should be uniform, then cattle feed manufacturer can use it. So basically, if you ask cattle feed manufacturer in North India, the most of them are adding wheat bran in the mash feed. But while making pellet, they don't use wheat bran because the pellet will also become soft.
Okay. So, doctor, is it the preference of the purchaser of the feed or the purchaser of the cattle feed mesh, or it is the preference of the cattle that the cattle likes flake more than pellets, or he's also habituated using one feed, eating one feed, and he will not change his food habits, the animal?
I think it's more of farmer. Means
More of the farmer.
Animal is eating nutrition. Animal is eating energy, protein, fat, vitamins, and minerals.
So the animal makes no choice or distinction, in your opinion.
That's true. That's true. Because if you'll see most of these farmers, what they will do, they will overnight soak it. They will mix everything. They will overnight soak it, and then they will give to their animals. If you go to Bihar and Eastern India, farmers will cook it, and then they will give it. So basically, a lot of processing happens before it goes to animal. And cattle feed manufacturer is making pellet. So pellets
Right.
are fed to animals. So animal needs only nutrition. It is
Great.
basically
So, doctor, we have many more questions pouring in. Like, is there any other value addition we can do in wheat bran? Can wheat bran be used for human consumption? What I can do is, if you have the time, you can give a short answer, or we can put in your email ID for the entire audience and your cell number. People can get in touch with you, whatever you prefer,
sure.
doctor.
Yeah. Because you can share my email ID and my phone number with all of your members, and they can always contact me if they need more information. I don't have answer for each and every question. Example, uh, what can be used in human food? I don't know, but fiber is good for human food. Example, what happens now? I'll tell you one thing. Um, we do Van Soest method for analysis of fiber. So NDF is with bran, neutral detergent fiber, as compared to dual rice bran. But why people are using dual rice bran in cattle feed? Because it is cheaper
Mm-hmm.
and it is available throughout the year.
Okay.
Making 17 million metric ton of cattle feed in India, we need at least 60% of it dual rice bran. So if
Right.
you see, if you divide almost 10 million metric ton of dual rice bran is manufactured in India and used. Therefore, government had banned export of DRB 2 years back
Right.
because
Right.
cattle feed manufacturers, National Dairy Development Board, cooperatives, they took objection that DRB is not available for us.
For local, yes.
Because and all other cooperatives, if you go there, means I just tell you the history. In 1964,
Yes.
in 1964, Lal Bahadur Shastri went and inaugurated first feed mill of Amul Dairy. So if you go to Gujarat, there are big cattle feed. All cooperatives, they have very big cattle feed plants, 2,000 tons per day, 3,000 tons per day, and most of these big cattle feed plants are inaugurated by prime ministers of India.
Wow.
So all these cooperatives, they are giving cattle feed and they are taking milk. Unfortunately, the quality of the cattle feed is not very good. So they will have to
Okay.
improve the quality of cattle feed. I will suggest all of them to use wheat bran, at least 5% in their cattle feed.
Right. Thank you so much, doctor. So I will just so thank you so much for this enlightening session, doctor. We hope that all of us are now better informed as far as wheat bran is concerned. So we are sellers of wheat bran only on the telephone. Most of us have not visited dairy or where it is being consumed. We only know if it can be sold 10 rupees more today or 5 rupees cheaper than yesterday. And because our main product is wheat flour, but wheat bran is hitting the economics of wheat milling currently. So I think millers will take the initiative to go out and market their good quality wheat bran and showing off the nutritional value for cattle and animals and other things, and also to feed mills. And most of the questions seem to be answered. So I don't know how to put it in the Q&A, but I am reading out the email ID of doctor. It is D for Delhi, T for tomato, B. So DT Bhosale, DTBHOSALE @gmail.com. Or Raj Kapoor, can you put up the first slide on? Raj Kapoor, are you still there?
Yeah, sure.
Doctor.
Anyway, we are sending the PPT
Yeah,
and
but can you put up the first slide of doctor, the homepage slide?
Actually, I put the chat. You can see I put my email ID in the chat.
Yeah, perfect.
My
So
mobile
that's there for everybody. And we will circulate this presentation PPT to everybody, and doctors contact details to everybody, and they can directly get in touch with doctor if they have any other specific queries. And so I would like to thank doctor once again for having consented to our request and made this beautiful presentation on wheat bran and animal feed, which has given us further insight into this subject. And I will take this last minute to request everybody to also register for Mr. Robin Panwala's session on AI in wheat price prediction forecasting. And last but not the least, a reminder to register on the WPPS CEO Conclave for 2025, which is in April 24th and 25 at Indore. Thank you very much, everybody. So I am signing out. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Doctor.
Namaskar.
Any last words?
There is a Progressive Dairy Farmer Association exhibition at Jagrao on 8th, 9th, 10th February. So all of you are invited to visit that. You will be able to meet many cattle feed manufacturers there.
Great. Thank you so much, Doctor.
Okay.
Thank you once again.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Raj Kapoor.
Thank you.
Okay.